A lot of us have had job interviews, right? Unless you own the company, you've had a job interview. Somebody had to hire you. Sometimes when they're interviewing you, they ask you a question, and a very annoying question, but it's a question that they're asking. And I don't think they expect you to give them an amazing answer, but they expect some type of answer. And that question is, I should say, yo, looking at your resume, you seem like a great person. You got a lot of great skills. Tell us what are some areas that you could do better in. Tell us something that you need to work on. We want to better get to understand who you are. Now that question, folks, when people ask you that question, they're asking you that question probably, I think, to see if you are a narcissist. They want to see if you are full of lies, if you can be honest, if you can think on your feet, if you can speak like here goes Kamala Harris being asked that question.
Weaknesses do you bring to the table, and how do you plan to overcome them while you're in office?
That's a great question, Joe. Well, I am certainly not perfect, so let's start there. Perhaps a weakness, I think that my decision-making process, but I actually think it's the strength, is I really do value. My team will tell you I am constantly saying, let's kick the tire on that. Let's kick the tires. So I may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes, because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess. I mean, I've made many mistakes. You know, you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I think that is very important. Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson.
So anyway, she failed at this question. These are not answers that make sense to anybody. That these are not optimal answers, guys. Like, look, I did this with Mrs. Black. I was talking to her about this. I said, yo, this is the question I want to start off the show with, because I believe this question best shows Kamala Harris's weaknesses. She just doesn't know it because she's too arrogant. Look, you say, Tim Black, what's the weakness? Well, man, I can talk. And sometimes that's great. Sometimes it's not so great. I can talk to the point where I could talk myself into a good situation, and then I can't stop. And I could keep going and going like the Energizer Bunny. So what I've had to do, right, is I had to get people around me, good people around me that I trust, to kind of give me the wink, like when it's time to shut her down, when it's time to what we call land your plane, right? So yeah, that's something I do, and I'm working on it. I'm trying not to be too long-winded. I hope this answer to this question wasn't too long-winded. There you go. See, I just did it for you. I just demonstrated what you do. I didn't plan to use that as an example. And if you don't want to go that far, you can just say something like, hey, you know what? My wife likes to cook. I like to cook, but you know what I like to do more than that? Eat out. Yo, I like going to restaurants. I like us going out. I don't want to see a dish. I grew up washing dishes in the house all the time. I don't want to see no dishes, right? And my dad wouldn't even let us use a dishwasher. So, you know what I'm saying? So look, I like cooking out. I like looking on the menu. I like when I don't like the food, I can sit it back. And if I want to have dessert, I can have dessert. You know, so yeah, that's one of my Achilles heels, Anderson, is I like eating out, man. And if I didn't have to cook at home, I wouldn't. You know, until I got tired of eating out. Thank you. See how easy that is? But Kamala Harris, when she did it, it was like pulling teeth. It was like she was fighting for her life up there. If you want to be the president of the United States, I'm sorry. You should be able to articulate yourself in a way where it doesn't look like you fight for your life to answer a question most Americans have had to answer to get a job at McDonald's or a job at Walmart or a job working as a temporary assistant for whatever, or a paralegal assistant, or like I remember when I was working in contracting, I had jobs that I'd say something, need to burn this. So this is my point with this whole line, right? Starting with this. I think Kamala is punching above her weight class. This should not be a problem for a person if they did this the right way. You can't skip steps. She skipped steps. Here goes another version of that answer. It's like Anderson Cooper, man, I don't know what was up with Anderson, but I like this Anderson Cooper. This version of Anderson Cooper was on point. Here goes Anderson Cooper asking her, giving her another bite at the apple.
That you have learned?
What the hell?
If you've ever parented a child, you know you make lots of mistakes.
There's something you can point to in your life, political life, or in your life in the last 4 years that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes, and they range from, you know, if you've ever parented a child, you know you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
Okay. To her, that was her being transparent. To her, that was her doing her best job at being a normal person. But that's not normal. That's not what people want to hear from you. Like, it sounded too much like, I'm so great. Nothing comes to mind. I have no weaknesses. I have nothing I could do differently as vice president. Gosh, nothing. I'm just amazing. I'm fantastic. Don't you know who I am, Anderson? I'm the bee's knees. I'm great. You don't know this, Anderson, like there is nothing about me that needs anything. Yeah, that type of feeling you get when you listen to her. This is not just about politics, right? It is about politics, but it's not. It's not just about policy. It's about people feeling like you are special. Yeah, man. People need to feel that. They need to feel that you are amazing, not just because you got a great job and your job gives you power, but they need to feel like they admire you, not for your stuff, not for your status as vice president, but for your gifts. And I don't think she demonstrated that very well. In the laugh, she thinks it's disarming. If you ain't the one if you're not making a joke that other people laugh at, you probably shouldn't laugh. I have an excuse. I can't hear you. But if I say something and nobody else is laughing, then I'm not going to laugh. Get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying, with this part of it, guys, I just want to prove. I'm trying to explain to you. I feel like she bombed last night just because of political questions. She didn't just bomb on questions about the border or questions about price gouging. She bombed as a person. She bombed in being a mature person that's gifted to speak in front of people too. She bombed in her thought process of how she would explain and communicate with voters and with people in the room. She didn't read the room. That's supposed to be something you can do. Do you think Obama would have bombed that? Really? Trump would have at least said something what is it, he would have made a joke, well, I think I'm amazing, but my Melania may think differently about XYZ. He'd have come up with something. I know nobody wants to give him credit for anything. I understand that. But he would have said something, even if it's his kids. Like, yeah, I think I'm amazing, I do great, but my sons sometimes they think, Dad, anything. So let's move on, Tim. I just don't feel like I've conveyed that enough. I just want to say, it ain't just the political questions that she didn't do a good job on. She didn't connect with the audience like that. There's people, that was a question a young man asked her, and that young man, he could not have felt like he understood her, like he could relate to her, like she was that's a missed opportunity. She should have walked over to him. I seen Bernie do it. I seen Obama do it. I seen Clinton do it. I seen John McCain do this. But see, there are people that love Kamala Harris, and I don't know why. She doesn't do that. She doesn't walk over and humanize herself. She says words, but they're just words in the air. She doesn't grab the moment and be vulnerable and real and embrace the people. So anyway, I'm gonna keep going, guys. It's just when people are boosting her, I'm like, why? I feel like a lot of people that are rooting for her are doing so for wrong reasons. She's not a bad person just because she's not qualified, right? You could be unqualified and be good on paper, but not be qualified in all the other things that would make you successful. It's called not being a good fit. It's called not falling into the culture of this job, not having the soft skills to do it. Yeah. Next, let's go to border, Tim. At this rate, this show is going to be 3 hours. Let's go to the border. We have an audience member. Once again, a person, a voter in the audience who represents maybe a million people, I don't know, millions of people who are wondering, hey, I don't like Trump, but your border policies suck. So convince me on your border issue, and maybe I'll vote for you. Because, yeah, that border thing, I just can't get past that with you. No matter what Trump says, at that border. So this is an opportunity for her, not for the person asking the question. This is her opportunity, folks. This right here is a game changer moment for her. Don't you listen to these people making light of last night. We're 12 days away from an election of the President of the United States. This person could dictate policy, not just for all Americans, but vastly impact the rest of the globe. This is serious business. And as it pertains to her and her political career, her career could be over because of last night. Done. Finito. You go from being a senator to being a VP to working, writing books and being on YouTube or something. Like, I don't know what she would do after this. Folks, this young man, this is an opportunity. And folks, within these next 12 days, what other game changer opportunities will there be for her? Where she will be on the world stage to be in front of the world and have an opportunity to change the narrative.